I don't think I realized how bad things have gotten until I used my credit card to buy groceries and my card got declined. I remember sitting in my car afterwards, staring at my banking app, trying not to cry over groceries. And the worst part was a few years ago, I actually had money. When I got divorced, I received a settlement, and at the time, it felt like my chance to start over. I told myself I was going to rebuild my life, get organized financially, and finally breathe again after years of stress. But looking back at it, I think I confused healing with spending. I started upgrading little things because I wanted comfort. I traveled because I couldn't stand being alone in my apartment. I ate out constantly because cooking for one person after being married felt depressing. Every purchase felt justified at the time. It didn't feel reckless, it felt like survival. And then the settlement money slowly started to disappear, but my life never really adjusted back down. That's when the credit cards started to creep in. At first, it was small, it was furniture, flights, random, I deserve this purchases. And then suddenly everything got more expensive at the exact same time I was already financially slipping. Now I'm around $25,000 in debt and I feel like I'm constantly panicking in private. I make my payments on time every month and I'm trying so hard to stay afloat. But every time I look at my balances, it feels like I'm trapped in quicksand. And every decision carries guilt. Every notification gives me anxiety. Every paycheck disappears before I even touch it. I think I spent years trying to buy comfort after my divorce without realizing I was financing my grief. And now I'm trying to figure out how to undo it before this becomes my entire life. So, this is the kind of thing that people judge really quickly. They say, just you should have just controlled your spending, you should have known better. But I always tell my clients that money is associated with emotion. We are emotional spenders. And clearly, there was a lot of big emotion happening in this divorce because divorce is going to blow up routines, it'll blow up your identity, it messes with your security. It messes with your future plans. And then things like takeout and trips and shopping and redecorating and comfort purchases, they all make sense at the time because they feel therapeutic. So, this kind of spending doesn't normally look like it's going to be a problem. It's not like she's going on, huge vacation. She's not sitting on yachts. She's not buying expensive bags. She's trying to finance what she thinks is going to be her new lifestyle. So, it normally starts with really small things like home decor, Starbucks, maybe taking a small staycation. And swiping that card actually has a dopamine effect to it. Every time you swipe it, you feel good. So, little, even if you're spending on small amounts, just swiping that card gives you that little flick of good feeling coursing through your system. So, it almost becomes addicting. Those little moments of relief start to derail you much later in the future. So now a few years have gone by, the debt's creeping up, the shame is starting to creep in because your balances are starting to creep up, and you start doing things like not looking at your bills when they come in, not checking your bank accounts, not checking to see if your auto pays have actually cleared like they should. And at this point, we're not just talking about financial failure, we're talking about feeling like you're failing at life. And so you start to see mental spirals. And you guys, the internet is making this so much worse. It makes it look like everybody online has their life together, but you don't. And that's absolutely not true. So, step one is to stop treating your debt like it's morality. Debt is behavior and math and emotion. So people in this situation will stop forward movement because they're filled with so much shame that they can't think logically on how to get out of it. Step two is to find your emotional triggers. What is causing you to spend? So when you go to swipe that card, what is it you're feeling at that time? Are you lonely? Are you bored? Do you have anxiety? Are you rewarding yourself because something good happened to you? Are you burnt out? Because if you don't address that emotional trigger, that budget's doomed to fail. Step three is to actually sit down logically and create a recovery plan. So the goal here is not to punish yourself, it's just to get a handle on your spending. There's a lot of people out there experiencing financial grief. This particular person is experiencing it with divorce, but there's grief, there's loneliness, there's being burnt out, there's depression, and that credit card starts to feel like life support. And then the bill arrives, and now you're trapped. So, what about you? Have you ever used spending to cope with your emotions? In the moment, you're not trying to be irresponsible, but over time, looking back, it definitely starts to look like irresponsible spending. Maybe you're doing it just to feel okay, but when did you realize that it was a problem? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I think way more people are silently carrying emotional debt than financial debt.